Hey everybody, welcome back to Day and Night Studio. We're gonna get right down to it. We're gonna shade 2 circles and turn those lines into edges. Get rid of them. We don't wanna see those lines in our finished polished drawing. We want the illusion that this is a 3-dimensional object, not just a circle. So let's get started. Here is the finished product. Now let's see how we get there. Get your materials ready. Giving credit to that Absolute and Utter Beginner book. I use a lot from that book. All right, I wanted my cast shadow mapped out. Now I'm using the side of my pencil. My hand is primarily on the top of my pencil, and that's so that I keep my shading even and I don't leave a lot of gaps in between those marks. I'm kind of doing an oval, like overlapping oval. I'm going right up to that edge. Any little spot like this where I have to keep the edge really clean and tight, I'm gonna use this blending stick. Don't worry if it's got graphite on it already. It's not a problem. Look, you can just use it in the cast shadow. You can actually use it to put a little light layer of graphite on there. Alright, we're gonna add a little bit of graphite to the background. This is a huge temptation to rush and make really wild marks in this area just to try to get it covered. Don't worry about covering the whole paper. Just cover the area that is around your object. I call it the object's environment. So just find the atmosphere around the object and work on that. Use that tissue for blending large areas. The blending stick will make it streaky, so grab a tissue and blend out all those soft edges that you need. Don't worry that you lose your cast shadow a little bit. We can always go darker. We can always add and layer. And if we shaded nice and light, we can always erase it with our eraser. So it's a really safe place to be building with mid-tone, kind of those medium grays, just as safe. All right, the best way to add your darks is layer by layer. So on the right side of the sphere where it's dark in the background, on the left side of the sphere where it's in shadow, and the cast shadow. So those are our 3 areas that are gonna be the most dark. And we wanted to just make sure that those slowly become darker and darker. We can't go any whiter than the white of the paper. So if we're going to develop contrast, we have to work on the low key values, the dark areas. That's where the most work has to be done. checking my reference and it looks like I need another layer of dark value on the left. Gotta use the tip of my pencil for this edge because it's a really sharp edge. It's a drastic jump in value where it goes from really dark to light in the background, and I just gotta be careful. So put another layer there. Ooh, that looks better. It actually is starting to look round. If I squint at it, the illusion is strong now. The difference between good and great is not underdrawing necessarily. I find that it's edges. Knowing the difference between slow value change and fast value change, or I call them jumps in value, where it goes from light to dark really quickly. And that's the difference between our matte texture and our glossy texture. Are those differences in value? So this matte texture sphere doesn't have a ton of jumps in value. Basically just the background and foreground are your jumps. But the marble we're about to do is going to have a lot more of that. Lots of jumps in value. And it takes a lot of practice going back and forth between tissue, pencil, blending stick, tissue, eraser, blending stick. So if you don't get it right the first time, you're in good company. Everybody struggles with this for a little while, but each drawing you do, you're gonna get stronger and stronger. And if you know someone who is struggling and you wanna pass this video along, give it a like and pass it along, share it with a friend. Help them out, because it may just be the difference between one little step before they have their breakthrough. So, and once you get there, it's so much more fun. You don't have as many bad drawing days where you just struggle. All right, last but not least, one more layer of graphite. This is about when students will say, "Oh my goodness, am I done yet? Surely it's enough. I thought it was good 30 minutes ago," but it takes a lot of polish. It takes a lot. If it was easy, everybody would do it, guys. It's tough. All right, blending with that tissue. That was my last blend, keeping that transition soft in the middle of the sphere, because it's not a glossy one, it's a matte finish. But I'm happy with the contrast I have. If I squint, it looks round, and I think we're good to go. Let's do the marble now. Ooh, this one's busy, y'all. Look at all that stuff going on. All right, well, there's a lot. I think in the center, that really big shape that looks like a tornado, that's gonna be the shape that I really focus on, and then the spaces in between. It almost looks like a continent, maybe like South America, and then it looks like the ocean around it. So anytime I'm drawing something that I've never drawn before, a drawing I'm just meeting, I try to tell myself things like that, truth about it. Like, okay, remember, it looks like South America. Remember, there's spaces in between that are lighter that kind of look like water. That way, every time that I look away and forget, at least I have that truth identified in my mind. So it sounds really weird to tell myself those things. Like, this looks like that, and did you notice this? But I can't just keep saying in my mind, it's a marble, it's a marble. I don't have any reference in my mind of what marbles look like. They all look different. There are all sorts of different kinds of marbles. I don't want just any marble. I want this particular marble at this particular angle with this particular light situation happening. So you can tell that I'm keeping all my shading really, really light because I know that there's time for more dark value if I need it. I can always go back and sharpen my pencil like I did here and map out some of those darker areas, but I'm going to encourage you to just go slow. Make a light area first, and if you feel good about it, and you think it's right, it's in the right place, it's the right size, then commit to it. Make it darker. Go back. It doesn't have to be as dark as you can go with your 6B or your 8B as soon as you put a mark down. You'll just regret it. I'm sorry. I usually regret it. I don't know if you'll regret it or not. I can kind of guess. You might if you're a beginner, but I'm not a beginner, and I still have a lot of times where I go too dark and regret it. So I'm just encouraging you to hold back a little bit. Keep a little of those darks in reserve. Just know that they're there. You still have them. You're not gonna run out. You can always take it darker. I'm also counting highlights in my mind. I'm saying, okay, if this marble were the Earth, the North Pole would have like 3 or 4 highlights. If it were the South Pole, it looks like it's got 3 little teeth at the bottom. And the cast shadow to me looked like it was a window. It has 2 like awkward windows that you can kind of see through the cast shadow. That gives it that look that the sun is shining through this marble and it's getting some light through it because it's clear. But man, when I'm teaching drawing, I will say whatever it takes to get someone to recognize what a true shape that is. I don't care what shape it is. We're just trying to record it and be honest about what we see, not what we think we see. Because your brain will simplify it and say, it's a square, but it's not really a square. So you can't, try to get that out of your head. Just say it's kind of a funky light shape, or just say something in your mind, your inner narrative that lets you be more honest with what you're about to put on the paper. Lots of jumps in value. When you're dealing with glossy objects, with glass objects, things that are highly reflective, you are gonna have a lot of really dark darks right up against really light lights. So just expect that. And as long as you keep those edges crisp where they should be and soft and subtle in other areas, like the ocean, as far as my marble goes on either side of that continent. So look for that and keep stepping back away from it and see if your illusion is working. Does it look glossy? You got to keep asking yourself that. I hope this video was helpful. I hope you learned something, and I hope your practice is successful. Please leave me some comments below and let me know how it goes.